time.
Hello everyone, it's Wednesdays with Willa, and I have my guest with me, Barbara Sanson.
Good morning everyone.
And the Blog Talk Radio is going to start any second, so we're going to just be patient with that. But our topic today, just for those who are tuning in, is spiritual healing. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a wonderful topic for everyone. Even if you catch this later, it'll be great. Hey everyone, as you start to pop on.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is cold in Lilydale. Let me tell you, after all the snow we've had, it was 3-4 feet.
Oh, I think more.
Maybe 5. And then
it's an old-fashioned winter here.
Yeah, we get this every few years, and it's probably negative wind chill right now. Mm-hmm. So if you're planning to come to Lilydale, make sure you're prepared.
Plenty of warm clothes and boots. Yes. And hats and mittens, because it is cold.
Yeah, don't leave your skin
5 seconds.
unattended.
That's right, that's right.
1. Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Lilydale Radio, featuring topics about spiritualism, mediumship, healing, spirituality, and the Lilydale Assembly, the world's largest center for the religion, philosophy, and science of spiritualism.
Nice.
This is Lilydale Radio.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesdays with Willa, the Lilydale Radio Show. I am your host, Willa White. I am a registered medium here in Lilydale, and I have a special guest with me today. I have Barbara Sanson. Thank you for being here, Barbara.
Oh, thank you for asking me, Willa, and good morning, everyone. Yes.
We've got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about spiritual healing, something that Barbara is very well versed in, because she is the chairperson of the Healing Temple here in Lilydale. And she's also a registered medium and all-around wonderful lady.
Thank you.
So we're really grateful for you. And so in case you're not familiar with my radio show and you're just tuning in, this is an opportunity to come and chat with me and my radio guests. I like to have different folk on every week, and we talk about spiritual topics, mediumship, faith, and family. And if you want to join in the discussion, if you have any questions, today the topic being spiritual healing, if you want to call in with any questions, you can. The call-in number is 818-739-8818. Again, 818-739-8818. And so most of you are probably tuning in on my Facebook page, which is Willa White Medium. So if you want to be aware of when I'm going live or anything to do with me, then you'll want to get on my Facebook page. You can like, share, follow, all that jazz. And my website is willawhite.com if you're wanting to find me. And Barbara's website is barbarasanson.com. So we like to keep it simple. Just
That's
our
right.
names.
Yes, it's easy. Yes.
Good lookup, right? Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming on board. So, as I said, today's topic is spiritual healing. We're going to talk about what is spiritual healing and what does it feel like to give and receive healing. And it's such a wonderful thing to take part in. So, Barbara,
Yes.
What is spiritual healing?
Spiritual healing is really, I think, the most ancient and most primitive and yet most loving form of healing. There's many types of healing that you can read about, Google and find information about, but the presence of the spirit of life is present to all forms of healing, be it called spiritual healing or any of the other traditional names that are out there today. The essence of that spirit is alive and present through the healer, from the world around us and to the recipient, be them present to the person who is working in the healing energy, or be them absent, such as a distance, such as a prayer list. So the spirit, I always say, spiritual is a spirit you all when you break it down. So spirit has no favorites. God has no favorites. It is available and free to every living person, being, the planet itself. And so spiritual healing is the presence, I would say consciously, that we recognize there may be spirit loved ones, guides, angels, teachers that are also working in that energy field to the healer, through the healer to the recipient.
Yes, beautifully done.
Thank you.
If there's one thing she could talk about, it's healing.
Thank you.
You teach a lot of the healing workshops.
I do. I have for probably about 27 or 28 years. It is such a joy because people want to know how they can help themselves and someone else.
Yes.
It's a natural thing for people to want to be of giving and service and working through humanity. So it's always a joyful experience. Some people make it a little more difficult because they have to know every little step. Other people just fly right through it and let go and let God. And I think that's the wonder of all of us, if you will. But yes, for a long time. And we have a children's week here in the summer. And the children, especially the younger ones, are already receptive, already in the state of that love and grace, and they just take it. And people come back in the temple then that day, and the children are working with us.
Yes.
And oh my, it's just a very precious experience for the adults and for the children.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's a pure energy.
I've had then stories where people, parents and the young people have come back and talked about wonderful things like giving their dog Blackie a healing, or helping their grandpa with his back feel better, or things like that.
Nice.
So you don't necessarily have to have a college course. It's all about love, and it's also the ability of how we can let it flow through us. Some of us are more reserved human beings than others, so it might take that person a little tiny bit longer to let go and let God, if you will.
Yes.
But it is available to all of us. It's available to all of us, and it's wonderful to witness.
It is wonderful.
Yeah, especially the children.
Oh.
They're so happy about it. They're so jubilant about it. They're so like, oh, I get how to do this. Of course, I give them some, instruction comparable to their age group. And, I know there's never really any challenges with the children. They just get it so easy. It's when we get older and start thinking about all the what ifs and should I do this or should I do that? We sometimes get stymied. So, yes.
We block ourselves.
We do. And it's really a right brain process, though we need our left side of our brain to be congruent, help us be focused, say the appropriate prayer or words, so on and so forth. But really, it's about just letting the energy of love come through me to the recipient in any way that they can receive or absorb.
Yes.
Sounds easy, doesn't it? And that comes the challenge, because we're all incredibly different. And for some people, being the healer works very, very simply, very easily. For other people, everyone's a healer on some level of consciousness, be it just to our family, be it to our work, be it to the garden, be it to the animals, be it to the food you cook, the intentions of what you do in your life. Everyone's a healer on some level. But spiritual healing has a little education behind it, and a little study, and a little, if you will, practice, because I tell people the more you can utilize the gift of spiritual healing and actually practice it or have the experience of it, the more of a sense of knowing, just like mediumship, the more of a sense of knowing you will have about the timing of things, number one, about the giving and the receiving, but also the congruency of the flow of energy. And so people then begin to trust the process, the healer, and that's very important. So I it's not a joke, but I say to them, come to the healing temple and apply to be a healer after you've done 100 healings.
That makes sense.
It's a practice thing of not practicing my curves of writing or my math, equations, but to practice simply being focused inwardly through prayer, meditation, silence, and then allowing the love that is already you to come up and forth, connect with the Spirit, God the Infinite, and let it flow.
Yes.
Sounds easy, Willa, and yet...
Well, it is.
It is.
It's a simple process.
It is.
I became a certified spiritual healer with the church before I became a certified medium.
Yes, yes.
And when I took the classes and then also did church-style spiritual healing, I could feel the love and energy, spiritual light from the divine flowing through me to them, and my hands would feel it. And my hands are normally, I would say, cold, but they would kind of amp up. And,
They do.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that some people know there are 7 major chakras, right? But we have chakras all over our bodies, and in our hands we have all these chakras, and they just vroom. So it's amazing the energy in what you can affect with someone in that way.
Which goes back to a real basic that I always bring forth in every class, and that is, who are you and who made you? You know, the spirit of the divine is present to every living organism and being, and the young people get it. I take them right back into their hearts, their heart space, where the essence of the divine created them, chose them special. You know, in a sense, every life is special. And so the whole orchestration of life itself is from a greater source than the consciousness of the human mind.
Yes.
So I teach them to go back and focus on that. And when we let go and we forget about our grocery lists, our picking up the kids at the school bus, our going to the bank or calling Aunt Myrtle or whatever it is, or our job, you see. When we forget about that and we go into the flow of what is it for loving within us and reconnect with that and let it flow through us, then we are supported through the ethers, etherically, oracally, through other beings, if you will. I mean, even the Catholic Church believes in the saints for healing. I mean,
yes,
you know,
pray the
there's
saints
nothing new, folks. It's all related. What's unfortunate is people have spent so much time segregating one aspect of our belief system from another and making this is right and this is wrong, and it is an all-encompassing love that is bound by the spirit of eternal, and it works through each of us. Some of us better than others.
So, now, what do you feel makes a good healer in that sense? Like, do you think it's just their natural ability coming to the forefront?
Well, there's a wonderful book called The Callings, and I'm sorry I do not remember the author right now, but in that book, the author talks about you are called in your innate beingness as a human being to want to step forth and do something. I certainly never, ever really was focused on being a medium. I wanted to be a good minister. But I also knew from my experiences as a young woman and a girl that healing was available to all of life. So the pursuit of spiritual healing for me was easy.
Yes.
What does it take? It takes a willingness, a depth of heart, a sincerity, a commitment, an intention, if you will.
Yes. Right practice, right intention.
I want to do this. Not for myself necessarily, because if that's the focus, sooner or later that bubbles up to the soup pot. You're going to know that. But to do it to help others, to help life, it's like being a good teacher, being a good doctor, being a good mother, father, being a good person in your workplace. You know, there are all... It doesn't make exclusivity, because the gift of the Spirit in life is in everyone.
Yes.
So everyone has the potential to use healing, be it for themselves, be it for their vegetable garden, be it for their grandchildren, you see, be it for the animals, absolutely. And pets, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, oh my, they love it. They love healing. Sometimes they get overexcited at first, but then you'll see the animals just settle right down, and accept that healing energy into them. We have a lovely woman who comes every year to the Healing Temple. She has a service dog because she is legally blind, and I just always see her and smile every year. And the dog comes up to the doorways of the temple in the first visit, and the dog is so excited it can't wait to go down in front, lay on the floor, knows that its owner is going to get a lovely hands-on healing, but also knows that they're receiving all the energy that's in the Healing Temple.
And that's something to note with animals. Some dogs or cats, some of them are really amazing healers.
Absolutely.
And they've sucked bad stuff out of people before.
Oh yes,
they're you know what I mean?
Yes,
it's like
yes.
They've removed things as much as they
Documentation
can.
of dogs finding tumors.
Yeah.
Dogs finding things that are wrong with people. Cats also. And I would put in my favorite, horses. The equine world may not be as sensitive at this point in evolution as dogs are, but they are very good emotional and mental healers for the young people, i.e. handicapped people. They have great relationships with the animal world.
Absolutely. And, it kind of, I do want to segue in the sense of, I read something about healing, and that they were doing some studies. They would hook up a person who was well,
Right?
and healthy, and then they'd have the person that was unhealthy to be healed. And a healthy person, it was easier for them to pick up and heal what was going on in an unhealthy person than it would be if you hooked an unhealthy person up to an unhealthy person. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, it makes total sense. It's like the difference between a beautiful, wonderful, like apple on a tree that's so shiny, and it's kind of, just the absolute model of, let's say, an New York State Empire apple, opposed to all the ones that fell on the ground because something wasn't quite right with them, or they suffered bruises, or metaphorically, we are like nature. There are people who, no matter how many times adversity may touch them, they get up, they polish themselves off, they dust themselves off, they get forward, and they know that they have to go forward in life to be the best person they can be. Now, you can teach that, but you cannot get a person to believe that unless they accept those things.
Yes.
You see? So it's an acceptance, if you will, an intention and acceptance, as well as a negative force field that tends to, and they've done studies with this, folks, where it's negatively closed down or closed off, that it becomes very tightly laced. And we all know people who have difficulty perhaps emotionally connecting with people, mentally question every single thing that they've ever heard.
Right.
Those are the people that takes a lot of love.
Right.
But the potential in that person is there. So we must never turn our back or turn our attitudes or judgments. Hopefully we learn less and less judgments. Turn against those people, because they're the ones in some levels, when they open up and the light is enlightenment and within them, they often make the greatest recruiters you've ever seen.
Happened in the Bible all the time.
Happened in the Bible. That's right. There you go.
They'd be healed, or they'd have a circumstance happen, and then they knew it was real.
That's right.
And they came to that recognition. So as far as being a healer, we want to have as much of our energy at our disposal as possible. We want to be at 100%.
Yes,
as much as possible when we're doing healing on other people.
I think it's really important, and all of us love to be needed, love the calling, love the opportunity of serving, and I would affirm in my heart that the people who serve the Healing Temple are such wonderful ladies and gentlemen, and young people when we have that opportunity, that it is all about the service. But unfortunately, not in every circumstance is it so. Some people have big ideas about they're going to go and then become a big person or whatever.
Right.
And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there's room for everyone. There's room for everyone. We learn what to do, and we learn what we don't want to do by one another, okay? We sure do. So when we put the love of service and the idea that in love, through the spirit of who we are, with the spirit of life, we can help the sense of someone in love and trust, belief, acceptance. People come with grief, they come with aches, they come with pains, they come with mental imbalance. I don't mean that medication-wise through a physician. I'm talking about mental unclarity. They come a little confused, they come emotionally, perhaps angry, frustrated. The gift of the healer is to love them no matter what. Unconditionally is going on in their life, and place the highest intention through their hearts through the divine to the person receiving, and that person will feel that. They will, as well as the healer will also feel the positive, loving energy. Now, sometimes they'll say, "Oh my gosh, this person was so negative. That person was this." Then I say, "Well, best you have to do a little more homework, because why are you taking that on?
Right.
Why are you feeling that?"
So let's talk about magnetic healing versus spiritual healing. Let's make that clarified for everyone.
Okay. Well, we're all magnetic. We're on the earth plane. There's a magnetic force field around us, through us, pulsating. And the ancient ones would take their sick people to the lodestones, and lay them upon those massive stones, and they would start to feel better, because the lodestone contained a magnetic field that was moving within that stone and connecting with the earth, and people would feel uplifted. Well, earth magnets also contain that, but we are magnetic, all right? Now, some of us have more of a magnetic response or attunement or a feeling than others, but believe me, ladies and gentlemen, there's not one person on this planet, animal or otherwise, plants included, that are not magnetic. Carrots grow down because of the South Pole energy.
Yes.
Flowers grow up because of the North Pole energy. And we also walk through that every day. Sometimes we feel more of a pull of a feeling that isn't happy, and see, when I say negative, it's actually a positive sense. I don't want to confuse all of the listeners, but we can feel that energy off of one another. And when we sit and clear our thoughts, if you will, our daily thoughts as a human, when we attune ourselves to love and the opportunity of letting our guides and teachers come in and move around us and through us, when we eat the yes and no.
Okay.
And the old school of thought about magnetics is, yes, if you walk through a constricted area or highly charged area where there's a lot of negative particles and things, we all feel that. But my question is, are we going to carry that? Why would we carry that if we know?
Some people things just glom onto them,
Yes, they do.
and they have to work at making sure that they shed those things and not take them on as their own.
So then we take a minute to clear our energy field. There are techniques and tools available to people to learn that. There's things to take, alkaline water, things that make you feel better.
Yes.
And I think if you practice the wonderful gift of spiritual healing over a long time, people gravitate toward all the things that I mentioned.
Oh, absolutely.
To make themselves be the best person they can be while they offer the gift of spiritual healing to someone.
Maybe when we talk about water, we have the water bowls.
Yes, we do. And it is the belief. I mean, the water bowls are there for a purpose. Number one, it breaks the contact with the recipient, and say, oh my gosh, what's in the water? Love. I would say, folks, love is in the water.
Love is in the water. Remember the man who does the water?
Yes.
And he did all those tests.
Absolutely. Dr. Emoto.
And the intentions of water.
Fabulous experiments. And there's a book about that. He has a video. I would encourage anyone who questions all of our intentions and thoughtfulness and mindfulness of putting forth love and prayer and healing, absolutely without question, Dr. Emoto's book will help you realize our thoughts are things. Come forward, want that reassurance, that touch, that genuineness, and I just say to people, please breathe in the new and let go of the old and allow yourself to receive this healing. It's very important.
And so when they're sitting and they're receiving healing, there are benches that are set up at church or in the healing temple. And there are healers that stand behind the benches, and then people come up one by one to the benches and receive a spiritual healing from a healer.
Yes.
And typically the healer will touch their shoulders and, touch in different places on their body gently. And
whether the recipient feels cool or warm or nothing at all, the intention of love and spiritual connection is placed over that person, and the recipient is the one that takes the healing with them.
Right.
And you don't always have to come forward. There are prayer lists, there are prayer circles, there are prayer chains, and the thought of sending that energy to people. Olga Warhol did great studies in the 1940s and 50s about all of this. This is not new, folks.
Nope.
It's all been documented.
Old hat. I see we've got callers. And
Great.
I know we should get to them, but I think it's
sitting in a chair or in absence, then though you may record the acknowledgement of, gee, I felt that person was a little resistant.
Yes.
It is not our role to ever assess or evaluate what has been given or received. If we do it in love, then it's a free gift.
Yes,
it's
right.
given in love. So people saying to me, oh, I feel magnetically all at 6s and 7s, I'd say go out and hug a tree, because somewhere in your consciousness you've believed that you had to accept that, to take that out of that person, and that's not true at all.
Right.
If you understand that is a whole topic of discussion,
I know.
and I have seen it over and over. I've seen it with advanced, experienced healers, and I have to remind them: is that your job? Why are you here?
Yes.
And if that is a leakage of energy that you're accepting or receiving, then maybe you need to sit out for a day or 2 or 3 and have a little healing of your own, because it's not tiring. The laying on of hands and spiritual healing is not tiring at all. I don't think I have ever in 28 years left the healing temple because
I want to take some callers. I'm going to take, looks like 8380 are the ending numbers. 8380. And welcome to, let's see if we can get you on. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
And what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Morgan, calling from Pennsylvania.
Hi, Morgan.
good morning.
Well, what did you want to say or ask about spiritual healing?
I was calling to see, starting the new year, with loved ones out here that have passed over, I've just been feeling real anxious, and my depression has been creeping up on me. I was just wondering if you had any
place around you, that you imagine that there is a white light of consciousness being placed around you, even putting your hands on your heart and affirming that the love of God is expanding and helping and healing in any way that you seek. It doesn't have to be necessarily with a healer, Morgan, because sometimes you can't always get to a place where healing is happening, but you yourself can invoke through the light of God the energy that flows through you and around you. If you can get 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes before you actually fall off to sleep, and affirm that that is helping you be renewed, restoring you.
If we get to a few other callers, if we can. So let's see. We're going to go with ending numbers 2158. Again, 2158.
Hi.
Hello. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Dolores Popliska, and I'm calling from State College, Pennsylvania.
All right, Dolores from State College. Wonderful. Well, did you have a comment or a question about spiritual healing?
Yes, I really, how do I put this? I'm very interested in the subject, and I totally believe in it. And I see someone here locally that does prophetic healing.
That the love and the power of the life force, God the divine, if you will, but we can call it life force, encircle you and remove negatively anything that no longer serves the love and the light that lives within you. Now, that's a practice. The first couple times people do it, they go, oh, I don't know if I had, but you got to keep practicing.
Yeah.
And the next most important thing, dear, is if you believe that you can be renewed with this, then absolutely without question you are. Mm-hmm. That's the 1st thing, so negativity doesn't build up on you.
Yes, and eventually it'll be on automatic pilot. Like
yes, Willa.
you just sort of say, okay, that's how I work. Every time I have worked with someone, I slough that off. I let that go. I do not carry that forward. You tell your spirit guides to take it away. You may want to do some visualization with meditation. Allow the angels to carry that away, and that's good fertilizer for the rest of the world. Compost, everyone.
Yes, and envisioning healing colors, dear.
Yes.
The beautiful pastel healing colors. Yes.
Yes.
Has that been helpful for you?
Okay. So that helps completely because I am surrounded with a lot of negativity, and so I have a hard time, and I'm always trying to ground it out and send it to infinity.
Yes.
To be incinerated because I don't need it.
I like that. Good for you.
I was having difficulty in doing that.
So when you recognize it, you can just give it to God, or if you want to visualize a trash bag next to you, and you put it in the trash bag, and the angels take care of it.
I'm kind of visualizing an incinerator.
Yeah. Whatever needs to happen, but the light will overcome all of that darkness.
Yes. Love is the greatest healing force that we have in the entire universe.
Yes.
And actually in the laws of the universe and mathematical equations, it breaks down to a principle that is repeated repetitiously over and over. We call it love. Spiritualists call it love, but there's a mathematical equations that are the equivalent of that. But if we continue to do that over and over and over, it becomes less and less necessary to consciously address the negativity. It's addressed in you automatically.
Yes.
God bless you, dear. The workforce, the people in the world today,
Thank you.
there's a lot of suffering. So you are the light.
Yes. Thank you so much for your call today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So it's like that sacred geometry and quantum physics
right.
there.
That's
We'll
right.
have to do a whole nother show about that. Let's see. Time's going so fast. Let's try to do another caller real quick. We're going to do 4593, and welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. This is Marie from Michigan.
Marie, thank you, Marie.
What's your question or comment about spiritual healing?
Hey, I'm already a Reiki master, and I already work with angels through IET.
Lovely.
But I'm thinking of adding crystals, like crystal therapy. But it's a very big time and monetary commitment. And I'm just undecided.
Well,
I don't know if I'd be pulling in too many different directions or...
I think crystals contain, the elements of this world and every world. They are made out of energy, and There are some that I think humans have an automatic response to, that are very powerful and good. They program crystals. I mean, these are things that aren't new. This has been going on in knowledge for probably the last 50, 75, 100 years about especially quartz crystals. But I say, yes, you know what, dear? It isn't the main thing, but it, in adjunct to anything that you are doing, it would definitely be complementary, helpful, and sometimes a person likes to take home a member of the quartz family stone. It's a good metaphor for their healing. So I would say, look into it. I wouldn't jump into the deep end of the pool unless you know absolutely that would be the only thing you'd want to do. I'd want to see you use it with your existing practice to help people, because I think there's a real addition there.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Marie.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your call, Marie. And, oh goodness, time always goes so fast with the show. There's one last caller, and then I should tell them about the other shows and what's going to happen next week here on Wednesdays with Willa, because that'll be fun too. So we're going to take caller 0899, again 0899, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Jackie from Ohio.
Wonderful. And what's your comment or question about spiritual healing?
Well, I don't have any question. I just wanted to call in and say hello to Barb and thank her for all of her training. And I know I speak for a lot of people, a lot of the healers, how much we love her. And we are counting down the days till we get to come serve with her again.
Oh my gosh, Jackie, I knew that. Well, I recognized your number, and I just want to say, you, my dear, have taken healing to an exemplary level. You have made a commitment of helping others, and I would say you are the model of true love and healing.
Aww.
Thank you, Jackie.
Aww.
Yeah, the Healing Temple is a great place for all of us, Jackie, and it's my privilege to know you.
Well, thank you, Jackie, for your call of love.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're wrapping up the show, but we've talked a lot about spiritual healing, and I want to let people know that next week on Wednesdays with Willa, my special guest is Susan Glazier, and she is the executive director of the Lilydale Assembly, and she's been in that position for a long time. She is a really interesting woman. She'll tell us a bit about that. We're going to talk a bit about old-time mediums and old past presenters here in Lilydale, some of the big wigs we've had. So it'll be a fun show, and it'll be next Wednesday, January 10th at 10 a.m. And so there are other radio shows that go on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. We have Colleen Van Der Zijn, who does Embracing Your Essence. Wednesdays mornings with Willa at 10 a.m. And then at 8 o'clock on Wednesday is John White, no relation, who does a show called Journey of Light. And Celeste is moving her show from Friday to Thursday. So Thursday morning, 10 a.m., you'll have Coffee with Spirit. And Celeste. So thanks for tuning in today. I really appreciate every single one of you. And if you want to know more about the Healing Temple schedule for 2018, you can find that online or in the workshop guides. And the Community Healing Service is on Wednesdays at 7:30 at the Lilydale Healing Temple, and that's off season, and different churches run the programs.
All are welcome.
Yes, all are welcome to that. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Yes. May healing be yours. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in on Facebook, everyone. And if you are interested in going to the Community Healing Temple, it's a service. They do healing, and there are some messages that happen there too.
On that Wednesday night, yes.
And I suggest you, if you don't already have one, have a healing list yourself at home.
That's right.
A prayer list that you can